Keď to nevie, o čo ide, tak zistíme, kto je vrah. Zistíme, kto je vrah. Po hádke išla autom preč. OK. Mám ju v zozname, alebo nemám? Dobre. Spustiť. Dám pridať do zoznamu a spustiť.
I didn't. I slept in the car. I left about 9 that night. I wasn't there.
Kde tam? Je ako v dobe, ako asi pri vražde. Počkaj, ešte raz.
I didn't. I slept in the car. I left about 9 that night.
Odešla sem kolem 9. Odešla kolem 9, spala v aute. Dobre.
I thought it made me sound suspicious. It's not a normal thing to do to drive to the other end of the country. I wanted to keep it simple. I knew it was stupid not to tell you everything. Saying I spent the night in Glasgow when my husband went missing, I thought it would, distract you from what was important. It's different now.
Now he's čo? Môže, keď vám chce, mám. Ferguson na pentakill?
I thought it made me sound suspicious. It's not a normal thing to do to drive to the other end of the country.
Stoj. Chat. Hľadáme nejaké nápovedy alebo niečo, aby sme vedeli v databázi vyhľadávať nejaké veci, čo sa udiali. Pretože jej frajer zomrel a ona je akéby... Proste my hľadáme, kto to spravil. Takže keď si niečo všimnete, že nejaké slovo alebo niečo podozrivé, kričte, lebo ja som tupec.
Country, I wanted to keep it simple. I knew it was stupid not to tell you everything. Saying I spent the night in Glasgow when my husband went missing, I thought it would, distract.
Říct, že jsem strávila noc v Glasgow v den, kdy se mi ztratil manžel.
Went missing, I thought it would, distract you from what was important. It's different now. Now he's...
Dobre, čo môžeme napísať, že v deň, keď manžel ušiel, alebo zmizol, spala v Glasgow, neviem, jak sa to píše, fuck it. Dobre, napríklad. To bol tento. Napíšem Kremeš. Gremlin z 48 mesiacov, Černý 21, ďakujem ti. Dobre, čo je toto?
Nothing else happened that night. We talked, then I said goodbye. Then next week I was singing in the bar again and there he was. And again the next week. He offered to buy me a meal. I told him I had already eaten. And so we got chips and ate them on the beach instead. When we said goodbye, he asked me to kiss him. Romantic.
Dobre, takže tu je akože... Toto bolo akože, jak sa spoznali. Ako sa spoznali. Je tak? Ale... Nič tam iné nebolo, že by sme mohli ďalej vyhľadávať, čet. Takže môžeme dať hľadať, takže noc. Dobre, čo tam môžeme dať, čet? Môžeme tam dať... Modrina. Počkaj, ja nechcem, aby si teraz na prázdno tu hádzal niečo a potrebujem z toho, čo sme my zatiaľ uvideli, vieš? Takže zranenie, napríklad. To by sme hľadali tak, ako zranenie tam není. Čo hovoríš, na zajtra? Teším sa. To je dneska, blázen, za chvíľočku. Zranení. Aha, to je po čekunsky. Zranení... Počkaj, Diana, nie? Diana, počkajte, Helen. Helen bola tá barmanka. Jak sa volal ten, nie Gus Chat, jak sa on volal? Helen bola barmanka a jak sa volali toho Simona šéfovci? Carlito a tá jeho žena? Carlito? Nič. Je to iba Karl asi. Karl? OK, Karl. Tu máme čo si čet. Takže o Karlovi musíme niečo zistiť.
Tak kod dneska. Diaz nebo Ferguson. Za mi Ferguson.
Was he my first? No need to be so coy. No, he wasn't my first. That would have been Carl. He was a local boy in a band. He was a bit of a shit. But he was sexy. We were 15.
Oh shit. Dobre. Nazveme to, že prvý sex s Karlom. Čekeť? Čo keď čet? Počkaj. Dobre, vydržte.
No, I was 15. Carl was older. 17, I think. I was really into him, regardless of how he actually behaved. Lots of drunken teenage sex. We did it in a church once. It's stupid. So he got tired of us and we split up after about 6 months. It was sad, but those early experiences, they help you realise who's really important to you, you know? Family.
Family. Dobre, tam nemusím dávať, tam nebolo žiadne infochat. Tam nemusím dávať.
Family. So, Carl fucked off, and then there were other boys here and there, and then Simon.
Tu tiež nič nie je v tomto. Tu tiež nič. Takže dáme... family. Skúsime dať. Či rodina. Rodina. Môžeme aj Simon pozrieť, to sme už kúkali, sa mi zdá. Dobre, ukáž rodina, čo tam je.
No, it was just me and her. Eve was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
Jak sa volala? To meno?
Yeah. It was just me and her. It was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about...
To je píčovina čet. Eve. Meno. To je ale keby... Čiže ak sa povie nie pohádka, ale... Tam ani si nemusím dávať asi. Eve, rozprávka. Nech som... OK, napríklad. Napríklad to je sračka, tam nebude nič také. To je čo?
Then she told me she wanted to help more. She said I should move in with her. She would come clean with Simon about me. I was family. I couldn't have a baby in a bedsit. I told her I didn't want to tell Simon. Told her to wait for the time being.
Čet, počkaj. Ešte raz.
Then she told me she wanted to help more. She said I should move in with her. She would come clean with Simon about me. I was family. I couldn't have a baby in a bedsit. I told her I didn't want to tell Simon. Told her to wait for the time being.
Môžeme niečo ďalšie? Pobrať? Z tohto? Asi nie. Dieťa v garzonke. Dieťa v garzonke. Dobre, teraz môžeme dať čo? Dieťa. Počkaj, pardon, dieťa. Dieťa. Oh, shit. Počkaj, dieťa dám ešte a Eve. Oh, shit. Oh, tu si jebe hlavu Olne. Dobre, poďme najskôr Eve. Poďme najskôr Eve. No, ukáž.
Well, my friend Eve. I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes.
Tady to nič, lebo bola obľúbená u oných v škole.
Yes. We'd fight. We fought on the beach once, and I held Eve's head underwater. There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach, and I held her head under, and I kept it under. And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her.
What the fuck?
And watch her drown. But that was it. It was just a moment.
Kde si môže pozrieť UFCčko?
Made up after.
Fight
It was a
Pass.
love-hate relationship.
Ok, tu nebol žiadne infochat, iba že pokus o vraždu. Ok, to môžeme uložiť. Pokus o vraždu. Takže násilie v minulosti už mala, chat.
A police station. Yeah. When I was young, we ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London, and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. The taxi driver we paid to drop us off, I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve. So my parents let me off.
Rozumiem, či to stanicu policajnú, chat, to asi nemusíme pozerať, že? To bolo nič, asi si myslím. Hana? Kde je Hana? Kde je Hana, chat?
What are you doing talking about Eve?
Aha, to je ona. Jebe na hlavu. Morzevka.
My mother called me Eve.
Čo?
My mother called me Eve.
Čo keď má schizofréniu a Eve je ona a ona si myslela, že ju topila seba. Dobre, čo teraz? Bolo tam Eve chat, ďalej bolo Glasgow. Mám iba jedno S-ko. To, čo ťukala těma prstama? Neviem práve, že. Neviem.
I got in the car and I drove. I just kept driving north. Just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could.
Oh.
When I finally stopped, I was all the way up in Glasgow. I was so tired. I just had to sleep.
Pozrieme to včera, môžeme dať, hej, to je pravda, môžeme pozrieť schizofrenia, neviem, jak si to píše, a dvojičky.
Yes. I got to Glasgow, I was exhausted, so I pulled over and slept in the car. I woke up because a rubbish truck went past. I got some petrol, bought a coffee and a pastry, tried calling someone from the payphone, and then headed back.
To nemusíme uložiť, asi tam nebolo nič.
Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year.
Počkajte. Iba sa joinem do Rainu, chat. Rain je na kasíne, chat. Keď tak si to klemíte. Ešte raz.
Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric.
Erik.
He got it this year.
OK, Erik, chat. Erik, nové
It was
meno
a
Erik.
wedding anniversary gift. Steel. It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste. That time, you must eliminate me. I was in Glasgow then.
Bude tam niečo, čo potrebujeme si to zobrať? Ešte raz, ticho.
Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year. It was a wedding anniversary gift. Steel. It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste. That time, you must eliminate me. I was in Glasgow then.
Jak ten čas tam žiadny nepovedali? Jak sa volal Erik, chat? Erik... Podľa nemusíme ani dávať. Erik, tam nič nie je také zaujímavé, čo v tomto videu. Poďme ďalej.
No, I don't think so. Glasgow was deserted that early in the morning. No, I don't think so. Glasgow was deserted that early in the morning.
To bolo ktoré?
No.
Hodinky. Dobre, ďalej sme tam sedia čo? Psycho. Je napíše schizofrenia, chat. Keď sa vidie po česky schizofrenie, napíšte to niekto do chatu. Môj podľateľ Erik. Počkaj, nemusím tam dávať dlženie. Retardace. Schizofrenie tam není, chat.
When she went home, Simon had a birthday tea waiting. Afterwards, she told Simon about me, told him I was pregnant. She wanted me to move in with them, this sister he didn't know she had. She knew that instant. The look on his face. My sister is gone. And she's never coming back.
Jakže je preč? Čo? Počkaj, schizofrenia sa píše s mäkkým i? Poch, mäkké i? Jebe ti na hlavu? Vy ste dementní. Schizo. Hľadáme vrah, chlapci. Dobre, tam môžeme dať teraz. Glasgow sme mali. Dítě. Dietre asi nie. Dítě. Ok, dítě tu máme.
We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity. We moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby, if it came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope.
Nič.
No, I lost the baby. I had a miscarriage at 8 months. We carried on living at Simon's parents until, well, it was only a few months after.
Nič. To bolo akože potrat.
It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Simon's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff, stuff we never needed and I never had the heart to throw out. I suddenly remembered that when I'd looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed too. That's when I called the police.
Čo? Počkaj, ešte raz.
It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Simon's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought.
Rozprávala sa s mamkou.
I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff, stuff we never needed and I never had the heart to throw out. I suddenly remembered that when I'd looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over.
Čo to je za píčovina? To nedá zmysel.
I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back. And
To si uvedomili, že boli úplne vzadu, že to mohol hocikto prehodiť.
pulled them open,
Prečo by ich otvárala?
saw the body.
Počúvaj, prečo by si otváral pytle?
That's when I called the police.
To je nezmysel, absolútny. To je absolútny nezmysel, čo je. Prečo by to otvárala? V druhom seriálnom videu si myslím, mám modrinu, ukáž?
We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out
Je to
of
modrý
school,
alebo
went
není?
full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity.
Môžeme pozrieť. Dáme vyhľadať úraz.
Yes. It was a shock to him. I mean, we never thought it was possible. I don't know what he... I mean, I hadn't decided whether to keep the baby. I wasn't really ready to talk to him about it.
rozejovka. Nie. Modrina. OK, to máme o modrinách všet niečo. Saga zabijak diery 22 mesiacov.
Bruise? Oh, yeah, no, it's nothing. I was going through the top cupboard in my kitchen and the chair slipped and I kind of hit the door with my face. I mean, it hurt like hell. The bruise. I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes.
Čo?
I don't know if there's much more that I can tell you that I haven't already told the other policemen. I found the body.
Čo? Ona je mimo.
Bruce?
Dívajte sa.
Oh, yeah, no, it's nothing. I was going through the top cupboard in my kitchen.
Nie, že to všimli, že? Dívajte sa.
No, it's nothing. I was going through the top cupboard in my kitchen. And the bruise.
Kamaráde. Som pridal štetu? Ste písali toto? Že o modrine, že na druhom líci? Fakt? Som si všimol.
The bruise.
A hneď tam...
I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes.
Čiže vedel, že som bystrý chalan. Viete, že hej.
I don't know if there's much more that I can tell you that I haven't already told the other policemen. I found the body. If one of us got hurt, the other one would have to be hurt too. A grazed knee, a bruise. When I lost my tooth first, we had to pull our harness to match. Once, I slept with a boy who was seeing another girl. The girlfriend came up to Hannah the next day and punched her in the face, gave her a huge black eye. That night, she had to do the same to me.
Počúvaj, ona je schizofrenia.
She went too far. I couldn't see out of that eye for days. She snapped a frozen piece up for me from the kitchen. So much of our bodies was synchronized anyway. We started our period on the same day. All our childhood diseases, stomach bugs, nits.
Kamaráda, ona je chorá na hlavu. Ja neviem, že mám tieto videá akože ukladať kvôli čomu. Ja neviem, jak to bude ďalej pokračovať, vieš.
Differences? She's a better driver than me. She passed the test for us. I tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. Learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything. She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl. Hannah met him first. She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin. She had lots of excuses. After a while, we decided that I should take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise, pulling a tooth, a graze. We used a hairbrush.
Hrebeňom?
After that, we took it in turns, though I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon. This was about 9. I went round and she was waiting for me. She was furious and so angry, the kind of anger you can only have towards yourself. We screamed at each other, argued, cried, we fought. I hit her back, left a bruise. I had my wig on from performing, she tore it off. Eventually, we grew tired of fighting and I left.
Požiadam ma na 100%, no ne. Skúrali mi to schizofréniu. Napíš rozdvojení osobnosť, nebo jak sa to napíše po česky? Rozdvojená osobnosť. Počkaj, odpadky? Odpadky alebo telo? Odpadky. Pytle. Pytle na odpadky. Telo. SOS najskôr.
His body did not real. And his throat. It looked like his throat had been cut.
Kamoško, jedine čo viem.
His glasses. Has these thick glasses.
Prečo o tom rozprávaš? Klbe si prst, to ona je čudná, ja kokot. Viem, že je podľa mňa chorá na hlavu, Jet. Chorá na hlavu, lebo si vymýšľa, klame, zabúda, kde má modriny. Modrina má spoločne... Počúvaj, čo?
Really? Okay. Here's the rest. They laid a body on the doctor. Oh, the wind and the rain. Till a fiddler with a fiddle came walking by. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle bow of her long hair. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made a fiddle bow of her long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made fiddle pegs of her finger bows. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made fiddle pegs from her finger bows. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle out of her breastbone. Oh, the wind and rain. The sound could pierce a heart of stone. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. But the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the dreadful wind and
Zmizla je tam modrina rýchlo? Ja neviem, lebo tu je taká webka kvality, jak moja, ty kokot, vieš? Takže ja neviem, či ju má, alebo nemá už.
anything you sing maybe used as
Ale neviem, koľko to je dní.
Can you imagine? I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. I slept with so many boys, men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty ill. I mean, how could we stay the same now? I felt like Hannah had really fucked things up. Set us down separate paths. We had become different.
Tu nič nebolo v tomto. O tele lebo nebolo nič, ty kokot, akože mať rozrezané hrdlo. Rany. Hrdlo. Môžeme dať toto, že nic nebylo, robíš si piču, pusti to znovu. Kamoško, ja analýzujem. Ja som tu kurva agent FBI, rozumieš? Ja som tu profiler.
Like I said before, it was 3, something like that. I walked in, saw Simon. He was on the floor of the living room. His throat had been
Počkaj, čo?
There was a lot of blood. Yeah, he was dead.
Jak je v obýváku? Počkaj, takže mi...
Like I said before, it was 3, something like that.
Nevedal, že bolo 9?
I walked in, saw Simon.
Najskôr hovorila Čet, že to telo našla v odpadkoch, nie? V pytli. A všimla si to tak, že boli rozhádzané krabice, tak išla pre baterku, vrátila sa tam.
Saw Simon. He was on the floor of the living room. His throat had been cut. There was a lot of blood.
No nič, tak vieme, že... Dobre, takže vieme to, že má proste si rozdvojenú osobnosť, tá druhá oni akéby... Môže to byť aj tak v skutočnosti, že si rozdvojená osobnosť a nepamätáš si, čo spravila tá prvá? To je pičovina, nie? Víš, že tak môže byť? Že si proste nepamätá? Dám tam, že... Telo, pivnica versus obývák. OK, napríklad.
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present. Another mirror. Just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round.
Aha.
She cut his throat clean open.
Chápeš to priznanie?
She'd only meant to scare him off.
Priznanie. Ešte raz to spustíme.
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present. Another mirror. Just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present.
Unique present.
She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open. She'd only meant to scare him off.
Dobre, čo môžeme... Počkaj, tu ešte strašne veľa informácií není. Neviem, čo sme ešte nepustili. O Eve sme pustili všetko. O Hanách. Dobre, asi to je priznanie ako... Dáme aj zrkadlo, že idem na vecko. Možno tam budú nejaké... Na vecko. No, takže, či to je zaujímavá hra ináč, ty kokot. Začalo to také, že o ničom a teraz už...
My name is Hannah. H-A-N-N-A-H. It's palindrome. It reads the same backwards as forwards. It doesn't work if you mirror it though, it's not quite symmetrical, but well, I mean, you get the idea. Sorry. Hannah Smith, I live at 31 Gladstone Street. Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. Oh, shit. Sorry. Yes, my name is Hannah Smith.
Ja, akože...
Oh, shit.
Mala povedať iba áno alebo
Sorry.
nie.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead. But I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
Florence a denníček. OK. Florence. Ferguson, bráško, Ferguson. Dobre, daj mi chvíľočku. Si by mal dojsť za chvíľočku. Napíš áno alebo nie. Kam? Ako sem? Vydrž. Musí na to prísť.
Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up. Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
Či sme mali vyhrať buď toto, Florence alebo čo? Čo bolo to druhé? Florence alebo...
Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight.
Denníček.
It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror.
Zrcadlo. Florence, zrcadlo, denníček.
She was me.
Ona byla mnou. Čo teda hru? Volá sa to Her Story? Her Story sa to volá. A vyštreme, kto je... Vyšetrujeme, kto zabil jej manžela. Alebo frajera, ale myslím, že manžela, čet.
Florence raised me in her home.
Dobre, toto.
Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there. I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand. I guess I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she...
Nie je dobre podľa mňa celkom.
Do you Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. You know, you married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow.
No, z toho asi nechceme nič zobrať, žiadna
Never
taká.
dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know.
Nic z toho asi nebereme. Keby niečo chcete zobrať z tohto četa a použiť nejaké slovo, tak mi povedzte, hej? Dáme denníček. Či dáme 2N-ka? Denník. Denník, jak sa píše denník, chat? DR? DR nič, takže zrcadlo. Zrcádko? Zrcátko? Ok, zrcátko.
It wasn't the present so much. It was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while. The present was a mirror. A nice mirror. He'd engraved the glass, the kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it specially for me.
Dobre.
The mirror. I can't remember. I put it somewhere safe. Upstairs, I think. I haven't looked at it since.
Počkaj. Upstairs, však ona povedala, že... Kde mu ona podrezala to hrdlo? To je, počkaj, tu niekomu jebe. Však v obyváku, že? Tu niekomu kúruje.
Silverleaf? No. He normally silvers them properly. This mirror, it's supposed to look antique. The reflection isn't as good. It's the perfect mirror for someone who doesn't like to look at their own reflection.
Ona vtedy hovorila, že to dostala ona, ale tá druhá, ona povedala, že dostala to isté zrkátko ako ona. Tak to sa mi zapovedala. Že rovnaký dárček dostala.
Look, on his clothes, that would make sense. He made it. By hand. I mean, he brushes the silver onto the glass. It's not how they make mirrors these days. I mean, he made the mirror. And he gave it to me.
Dobre, čo ďalej? Ja to pochopil, že tamta dostala to stejné ako minule. Ja ti hovorím, podľa mňa to je rovnaký človek, chat. Má poruchu v hlave. Áno, lomeno nie, mám napísať.
No. I mean, yes, we have arguments, but he never runs off. He always comes back. We make up. It's always that way.
No je to stejný človek, určite o tom žiadna, ale akože dvakrát vypovídala z iné osobnosti. Aha.
Sure. Yes, of course, if that would help. Will you phone the house to let me know when you want to come round? Then I can make sure that I'm there. Thanks. Please find Simon. I love him so much.
Dobre, musíme ešte zistiť. Kedy sa stala tá vražda, chat? O koľkej to bolo? Jaj, ne.
No, he doesn't have any tattoos. He has a scar down here near his stomach, past his hip. Cut himself with some glass. That was before, a long time ago. He looks just like the photo. He's not got his glasses on here though. He takes them off with the camera. But he needs them to see properly, you know. He has to read. a newspaper or a menu in a restaurant. Not books so much, or watching TV. He likes TV. Suicide? No. I mean, he would never do anything like that. He is not the kind of person to do anything like that. I mean, to hurt himself? No.
Sklo. Chat, možná bych napsal pak vdova, abychom se dozvěděli více o té Florence. OK, vdova. Ja som taký jak detektív, hej, a snažím sa vyriešiť tento prípad, že kto ho zabil. Čiže ďalší Rain, zapojte sa, kto by potreboval, ja som hádžem do každého Raina, to mám piči. Ich tam oberám o všetko. Počúvaj. Takže, brejle, či brýle, jak dáme ičet, brýle, výzva, rana, sebevražda, vražda. Plechovku s listami našla u Florence. Tetovanie. Tetovaní. Okay.
Oh, my tattoo. I got it to express my individuality. It's an apple and a snake.
Chlapci. To mám pozrieť prvé?
No, he doesn't have any tattoos.
A teraz neviem, či rozpráva o ňom, alebo...
There's a scar down here near his stomach.
To hovorí o tom Simonovi, Jet. Ja by som potreboval vedieť, že či líkne svoju v úvodzovkách segru, či má alebo nemá.
So I moved out. Got a small bed sit. Got my tattoo to mark the occasion. I was singing in a bar in the evenings, so I had some money, enough money to cover my rent. And I've been doing something similar ever since. I haven't put down any roots. I don't exist.
I don't... Čo som spravil? Čo sa stalo?
He saw me singing one of my shows. Pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was.
Florence pripomína mi to film z Netflixu o dvojčate, kdy si vymienili život, když jedna umřela a tá druhá predstierala, že je tá druhá T.
To sa mi zdá niečo, keď videl. Echoes? Nie Echoes.
He saw me singing one of my shows. Pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was. But he didn't know who I was. He was fascinated by the likeness. He guessed my name from my tattoo. Told me it was a palindrome, like that would impress me. I enjoyed talking to him. It was amazing to be able to sit and interact and talk to him after all this time. He didn't tell me he was married. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He later told me it was like he was dreaming. A waking dream.
Počúvaj, fakt, teraz som ešte práve napísať, teda povedať Voodoo, že mne normálne z toho nagrcanie, jaká je ona jebla. Na 100% je rozdvojená, chápeš? Úplne. Diggelson, ďakujem ti veľmi pekne, thank you for this abdiges. To mi musíme nájsť všetky zvazky. Čo ti jebe? Dobre, takže teraz môžeme dať chat auto nehoda. Jak to povie auto nehoda po český chat? Psychiatra? Psychiatria. Auto nehoda, to je rovnako, hej. Detektor lži. Lež. Listy. Čelo sme už kúkali, myslím. Itle sme kúkali tiež. Počkaj, tu je niečo.
The whole thing was wrong. The bags, I think they were from our kitchen, you could probably check that. We never go into the cellar. It's just a place we put things we don't need.
No počúvaj mi sem, ty kokotina, bleda, kostrata, fiddlesticks, áno, to sa s tebou vyprávam ako sa má.
The bags were taped up. I think it was parcel tape, but I think it was ours.
To boli zalepené, preto ich otvárala. Jak? Pytle. Nůž. Nie, to nebol... Počkaj, prečo nůž?
Well, she has a knife. She's been cooking, I guess. She's been cooking him his favourite meal. She's his wife. And he's asleep and she doesn't want to wake him because he's ill. That's why she's sad. Because he's ill and he might die. It's kind of a sad story, so I'm not sure it ends.
Choroba. Sklep.
Well,
Ja vlastne nie je choroba, nemoc.
fine, considering. I got back into the house today, and that was weird, knowing your people have been there through my things. It's like I've been burgled. Only worse, obviously. I don't know. I haven't looked in the cellar yet. They sent a cleaner in. As good as new, he said. But they had to throw some stuff out. Couldn't get the blood out. And I'm still waiting to hear from the coroner so we can get a date set for the funeral. It's going to be a cremation.
Nemá kérku? Nemá lovíše? Počúvaj, čo keď budú fakt dve, ty kokot? A fakt to akože si nevymyslela. To? Prečo to? To. Top.
He was wearing a shirt, a blue turtleneck shirt and jeans. He has a watch. It's a really nice one. That was a gift from his boss, Eric. He had his coat, a long grey duffel coat, black Paddington Bear.
Rozdvojený
He would have taken that with him. It's not in
nepoznáš
the house.
podľa takových výpoviedí tohle je určite ako echoiz, jestli ta piča Florence řekla, že je dvojče mrtvá a nebyla, tak se jedna vydává za druhou nie. Hledej s tou porodní bábou a zapomeň na to, že je rozdvojená, akorát tě to plet.
Jak sa volá tá porodní bába? Porodní bába. Pôrod. Porod. Uklízečka. Florence. Sme videli všetko. Nemoc, to je ono. Nič. Simon. Carlito. Family. Rodina. Dieťa. Dieťa. Eve. Garzonga. Sklep sme dávali? Hej. Nůž, to sme mali. Zrcátko, to sme mali, sa mi zdá. Hej. Ona mu hrdlo. Houby. On tam pestoval tie houby v tej pivnici, ale to je blbosť, to nič nebude s týmto isto. Jebeť tak houby.
They said it was food poisoning. There was something in the food they ate. My dad liked to pick mushrooms, grow them too. They said it was the mushrooms. It was hard to believe. Death caps. They have a skirt around the cap. My dad taught me that. But, the police had no reason to think it was suspicious. They lived alone. And no one had any reason to hurt them.
To jak zamračila, čet? Toto je Eve, hej? Hannah má kérku teda, čet? Eve je bez.
They said it was food poisoning.
Dívaj sa, aha.
They said it was food poisoning.
Kamaráde. Takže možno tá Hannah čet je tak jeblá len kvôli tomu, už niekto mi volal.
Had any reason to hurt them.
Svíza. To ty nemáš kľúče, ty dement? Idem ťa otvoriť. Dohrávame, tak zapalíme, vydrž. Dohrávame jednu hru. 15 minút. 15! Počúvaj. Takže, počkajte, čet. Hannah je tá, čo má kérku? Alebo Eve má kérku? Zapálime? Nie trávu, čet. Máme, Jaro donesol také čokoládové dutinky, čokoládové.
They said it was food poisoning.
Toto ma zaskočilo, čet. Ona je...
I was living in the attic. It was a very hard time. I was depressed. Was still pretty sick of the STD.
Počkaj, do piče.
I was living in the attic. It was a very hard time. I was depressed. Was still pretty sick of the STD. And I came down one morning and
Syphilis.
they were dead. They were in bed and both had been sick. They'd thrown up a lot. And I'd slept through it.
Sa ju z toho jeblo.
The police said it was the mushrooms they ate. Dad was a mushroom expert. He used to take us picking with him and he taught us how to recognise them. And there's no way he would have picked death caps. But the police believe that's what happened. They never even looked in the attic.
Takže, púda, na 100% púdačet. Dobre, nie. Pohlavní nemoc. Nemoc. Syfilis, jak napíšeš syfilis?
No. The parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no way I could follow. So we were separated again. I stayed in the attic. It was hard. It's like I suddenly didn't exist. I would sneak out, but in case anyone recognised me, I started wearing a wig. Hannah and I would meet up in the park. I was trying to get pregnant. But I couldn't. I couldn't do it with anyone we knew, so it was sex with strangers. Drunk guys I'd met in clubs, parks and alleyways. I was 17. It felt like I was being punished. But it was Hannah who had betrayed us. I had to stop when one of the guys gave me an STD. When we met up, it was disturbing. For the first time, my reflection, she didn't look like me. She was fatter, flushed. If anything, I was getting skinnier. I found it hard to look sometimes. We talked about what to do. Was it time to become our own people? That seemed like the right thing to do, but neither of us wanted it. We agreed that her and Simon would get their own place as soon as possible, and then I could move in. And that was the plan.
Rodiče.
I got pregnant. Both our parents had a big powwow. We weren't even in the room, and they decided we should get married. Then my parents died. It was the worst year of my life. A miscarriage and then my parents. No cat. My parents had a cat before they died called Domino. It's this little black thing with white dots. And we never did anything about the cat flap, but if you were thin, you could maybe squeeze through it.
Domino chat.
Simon's parents offered to put me up, but I didn't think it would be a good idea. It would be too sad. Not right now. I'm staying at a friend's. We loved our cat, Domino. He had this little bell around his neck to stop him from killing birds in the garden. And we used to write each other notes and put them in the bell, and we could send them to each other. Mum found some of the notes once, and she thought I was just writing to myself because our handwriting was identical. And we had our own words for things, so she didn't quite understand them anyway.
princípe hľadáme, snažíme sa vyšetriť vraždu. Tak hľadáme v databázi podľa slovíčok, ktoré zistíme z konverzácií rôznych a z videí a z výpovedí, že kam sa môžeme ďalej dostať a hľadáme vlastne vraha, čo asi ako vieme, že to je jedna z nich asi. Počkaj, pozrieme tam psaníčko, deprese. Dali sme rodičov, tak máme máma, nebo otec, máma.
Mum and Dad had never had any reason to notice. They were always busy. If Hannah was eating a lot, they didn't mind. She didn't put on any weight. That girl has a healthy appetite. If they heard us talking in the attic, they just thought it was Hannah playing one of her games, and that Eve was our imaginary friend. Once, she was already up and dressed and ready to go to school, and I snuck down for a piss. Mum saw me in my underwear, she went mad. Get dressed this instant! So I ducked into our bedroom, and seconds later, out came Hannah, dressed and ready. Mum was amazed.
Viktor, čau, dobronos. Narfus, ďakujem, Baber do 9 cez Prime, ďakujem ti dobrú. Či vidíte, spavím ďakujem UFCčko. Gamba bola, hej, profit. 700.
Not just the pretty ones, but the traditional ones. They were dark and real, bizarre and violent. Felt like life. We had this huge old book that I think Mum must have bought from a library sale. The illustrations had thin tracing paper over them to protect them. They were in colour, shiny plates. At the front of the book was an index of illustrations. We read that more than the actual stories. We'd read aloud the captions and flip between the pictures. There was something intimate about peeling back the tracing paper, undressing the pictures. Rapunzel's hair is cut. The eagle plucks out his heart. The princess pricks her finger. Mum and Dad never knew what was going on.
Gamber dostaneš balans každý deň. Ja si cháni, tam poslám vlastne peniaze, keď to pochopíme.
Mum and Dad never knew what was going on. Got so good at it. We were so in sync that we'd use each other to cheat. If one of us had a hangover, the other one would go to school.
To máš dobré
Whoever was best at a subject would sit the exam. There were lots of differences between us. Some things one is better than the other at.
Kristal, čau. Takže škola. Nie. Kniha. Nie. Denník sme skúšali. Prečo teraz? Ja som dal 2 NK predtým asi, aha.
No, he doesn't keep a diary. That's my thing. I've kept one, well, as long as I can remember, since I was a girl. Helps make sense of my day. And when you're forced to put something into words, it just gives you perspective. Everyone's on the same page.
Včera budem musieť ísť.
When I was 8, Mother died. She slipped down the stairs.
Prečo?
It was an accident. I had read a diary at that point and I knew she wasn't my real mother. So I burned the diary that day and I left. Walked out and across the street.
Chat. Však tá druhá povedala, že rodičia zomreli v spánku. Na otravu hríbami. Pád. Schody. Obesov po sedle. Pád. Pád ze schodu. Smrt. Vražda. Sebevražda. Ďalší ranger na kasíne, kto by chcel? Oječko. Dobre, ako kočka, jak sa volá tá kočka, chat? Domino? Kočka. Zvonek. Jídlo, len tak. OK.
It was my birthday, like you said. We were going to have a meal at home. We had our meal. He gave me his present. I guess I didn't like the present. From when I woke up. Okay. I woke up. Simon was already up, and he made me birthday breakfast of eggs Benedict.
No.
We both had to go to work, so we saved presents till later. I got to work, had some birthday cake. Children sang me happy birthday. Then I came home. The birthday meal was a takeaway, and Simon gave me his present, which I didn't mind. And after that, we talked about the baby. It turned into a big argument. Simon left. I was furious. I wanted to get as far away as I could and get some space to think. So I left.
To tým autom vtedy išla asi do piče. To bolo asi vtedy. Nie, ja som bol escape, ja som kokot. Takže teraz tam dáme ešte dárek. Plán, dítě sme už mali. Dítě, doktor, hádka.
Stupid argument, nothing specific.
Ahoj krása vec,
No one knows
jakož darí
artificial
sa.
buttons better than those you're close to.
Paruka.
A wig? You mean... But what type of wig?
Kapela, hlasy, krev, môžeme pozrieť. Zájov, čau. Či sa darí? No. To uvidíme počas UFC, či vidieť tiket alebo nie.
Wig. What kind of wig?
Dík zajíci.
This other person doesn't exist. I don't know what the blonde wig is, but it could be anything. Have you looked at the cat flap?
Blond.
Could the hairs have come from somewhere else? I mean, could they... We have a lot of dolls in the attic. There's a Rapunzel doll with long blonde hair. Could they have come from there?
Kapela a hlasy. No nič, počúvajte. Niekoho to chýba. Možno polka, ani nie. Rapunzel. Môžeme ešte dať ten potrat. Porod. Porod to je, že? Polygraf. No, že... Dopíčeme na dobre. Dvířka, dobre, skúsme ešte dvířka. Ale už poviem, prejdeme na to UFC, chlapci. Idem to nastaviť celku a tak a ideme na to.
No, they were shut. Most of the windows were really hard to open anyway. It's stifling in summer. They were painted over by my dad. Could have left a door open accidentally. Or there's a cat flap in the back door.
Dveře.
Yeah, I had to let myself in. The door locks if it swings too. Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I parked down at the end of the road. I walked up to the house. I knocked on the door. No answer. I took my keys out of my bag, unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. I could tell because the key wouldn't turn when I tried to turn it to the left.
Počuli toto už.
I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes on the shoe rack. I shouted out for him. I walked straight into the kitchen. He usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper. He wasn't there. I touched the kettle, it was cold. I looked quickly into the living room, nothing. I walked upstairs to the bedroom, he wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. Then I had a shower. Whilst I was in the shower, the phone rang. I think it was Eric.
Sme počuli celé? Prečo mi to ukázalo, že som to nepočul? Minulé říkala, že pije čajné kafe? Nepamätám, ty kokot. Prvýkrát povedala, že sedí v kuchyni a pije čaj, teraz povedala kávu? Nie, ona povedala, že skúsila, že kanvica je... Čo? Počkaj, daj mi ešte raz.
Okay. Pretty clear he wasn't there. Then I had a shower. Whilst I was in the shower, the phone rang. I think it was Eric, his boss. I didn't answer it. Then I came out and I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, but I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. I spoke to him. Then I called Simon's parents. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
Počúvaj, oni ma dopletli ako kokoti, to dve piče. To je strašné, ma dopletli ako hovadočet. Každá to hovorí ináč, chápeš? Tu každá im to jebe na hlavu. Telefón. Dobre, posledné videá a idem na tú UFCčku.
Mobile phone? Yeah. Well, they have one for the glaziers.
Oh.
It's only for work. I can't remember the number. It's in the kitchen. I saw it plugged into its charging cradle.
V nabíjačke?
I left the next day, Saturday. I slept for a few hours in the car. When I woke up, I came straight back. Simon wasn't returning my calls and I wanted to try and make up.
Lebo bol mŕtvý.
I got back to the house and Simon wasn't there. And Is there a bin?
Táto musela zavíčec. Ti hovorím.
No. No, he wasn't wearing his wedding ring.
Kamoško, to je to prázdne a prázdne. Si na to spomenula, ako rozjebala, tak sa dogrcela, chápeš? Sklárna. Jak sa volá ten jeho šéf? Prečo to hľadám? Vlastne už nikdy nebudem kúkať UFCčko. Konec. Pokračujeme ďalej, že môžeme to dohrať.